This is the Dallas Morning News.
It's Tuesday, June 10th. A mix of sun and clouds today with a thunderstorm or two rolling through the area. In fact, thunderstorms will be a daily occurrence the remainder of the week. Today's high will be 91 with a low of 70. Here are today's headlines. Protesters gathered in Dallas Monday to express solidarity and support for Los Angeles residents and undocumented immigrants who have been subject to stepped-up activity by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents in recent days. The event, which began at 7 p.m. at the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge on the edge of downtown Dallas, started off peacefully but took a turn when marchers hit the streets and were confronted by Dallas police officers. Shortly before 10 p.m., police announced to the crowd that participants had to leave or face arrest. The gathering in Dallas resulted from the ongoing situation unfolding in Southern California, the ICE raids in Los Angeles, and a subsequent decision by President Donald Trump to federalize National Guard soldiers over the objections of California Governor Gavin Newsom ratcheted up tensions in the nation's second-largest city. An estimated group of up to 400 people gathered at the landmark Dallas Bridge to express their unhappiness over the turn of events on the West Coast. What started out as a mostly peaceful gathering shifted when scattered skirmishes with Dallas police officers occurred as the sun went down. Around 11 p.m., Dallas officers had corralled a small group of protesters who remained at the site into the nearby park before the demonstrators ultimately dispersed. In other news, Southern Baptists meeting this week in Dallas will be asked to approve resolutions calling for a legal ban on pornography and a reversal of the U.S. Supreme Court's approval of same-sex marriage. The proposed resolutions call for laws on gender, marriage, and family based on what they say is the biblically stated order of divine creation. They also call for legislators to curtail sports betting and to support policies that promote childbearing. The Southern Baptist Convention, the nation's largest Protestant denomination, is also expected to debate controversies within its own house during its annual meeting Tuesday and Wednesday, such as a proposed ban on churches with women pastors. There are also calls to defund the organization's public policy arm, whose anti-abortion stance has not extended to supporting criminal charges for women having abortions. Many of the proposed resolutions on gambling, pornography, sex, gender, and marriage reflect long-standing positions of the convention, though they are especially pointed in their demands on the wider political world. They are proposed by the official committee on resolutions, whose recommendations typically get strong support. Next up, when Jacob Kirksey began studying the ways Texas trains teachers, he came to see the state as the Wild West. But over the past several months, he's watched as state lawmakers pumped oxygen into the issue. A state funding bill signed Wednesday by Governor Greg Abbott represents a monumental investment in fixing Texas's teacher pipeline. House Bill 2 funnels roughly $8.5 billion into several buckets intended to boost public schools. About half the pot is going toward teacher recruitment and retention. Doing so could help reverse years of troubling trends. Since the pandemic, the number of uncertified teachers working in Texas classrooms has exploded, and the rate of educators leaving the profession has crept up. State legislators repeatedly said this data is evidence of a crisis. Lawmakers acknowledged some of these problems are of their own making, in part because they built a system in which districts could hire teachers without proving they'd had robust training. And a steady line formed inside the Tiny Dell's charcoal burgers at lunchtime yesterday, just 3 days after the 68-year-old restaurant reopened following a fire. Regulars had been waiting on its return since April 25th, when a grease fire shut down the historic restaurant, Richardson's oldest. Officials declared the fire accidental, and no one was injured. The first days back open were record-setting days for Dell's, whose owner said they were easily our 2 busiest days ever. The staff served upwards of 500 burgers for 2 days, quite a feat for a restaurant with a small kitchen and 4 staffers. Customers who last visited Dell's more than 45 years ago might not notice a difference from then to now. It still has the same yellowing menu boards listing burgers, fries, tater tots, and mugs of frosty root beers. But if you look closely, you'll see that Dell's has a new grill, flat top, deep fryer, and stainless steel wall, and a fresh coat of white paint. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.